How do you help truck drivers?
We help truck drivers in a couple of different ways. We do have an app, the Mother Trucker Yoga Lifestyle Jumpstart app. You can download it. We have lots of free stuff on that app as well. I do wellness programming for truck drivers. I was able to create a program for trucking schools.
There are folks like yourself that have got programs, tools to help them get started in their career so that they can have a healthy lifestyle.
Trying to help these drivers understand some basic lifestyle wellness techniques and strategies that just feel very easy to implement and kind of like things they can put in their back pocket, things they can do automatically.
And we have Hope Zvara on the show today. Who in the heck is Hope? Mother Trucker Yoga. We got to say that one carefully. Mother Trucker Yoga is on the show today talking about health and wellness, and I think you're going to be surprised with this interview. Let's get on with it.
Welcome to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast.
Hope, welcome back to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast. Johnny and I are happy to have you back.
Thank you guys both for inviting me back to the show. Always one of my highlight conversations whenever I get to talk with you both. Lots of laughs, so stay tuned.
I thought maybe it was because when we get into doing yoga with you, you hear our creaking.
That too. You know, it's sound effects you don't have to dub in, which is like a lot less stress for Chris and you.
Yeah, I tell you, the last conversation we had, and I'll put a link in the show notes if I can put my hand up there for the last conversation. It was a lot of fun, and we had quite a few laughs. So, Hope, before we get much further, can you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
I would love that. Hello, everybody. My name is Hope Zvara, and I am the CEO and founder of Mother Trucker Yoga. You heard that right. Say that slowly. But we help over-the-road truck drivers that are living a sedentary lifestyle and struggle with things like back pain, brain fog, sleep issues. And when they walk into a truck stop, they don't know what to eat that's healthy. And our angle and our focus is really small, simple changes. This isn't about big, elaborate programs. This isn't about eating keto or cooking on the truck or exercising and running 5 miles a day. Like, if you do all that, that's cool. That's great. But really, our focus is helping you improve 1% every day, that at the end of the year, you're 365% further along than you were a year ago. And we work with trucking companies, we work with CDL schools, we do presentations and really educating the industry that there is a better way to merge healthy lifestyle and truck driving together. And I'm excited to be on the show again.
Well, look, first of all, you're very welcome for being on the show, and we're excited to have you. But some other people, I say but, I hate that word. It should be, and some other people have recognized what you are doing for the industry, right? Like you recently received the House Hall of Fame Award for 2025. What was that all about?
Yeah, so back in fall of 24, you know what today's world, and you get a lot of spam emails and you get a lot of spam calls. Well, this guy kept calling me and emailing me, needing me to reach back out to him. And I'm like, what is this? And finally I get a phone call and he's like, don't hang up, because it sounded like it was a spam call. And here it was, Rich from House products. So if you're familiar with all the fluids that can go in your truck, that's them. And they said, hey, we've been following you for a while, and you are our person we chose for the House Hall of Fame Industry Leader of the Year for 2025. And I was like, what? I've never heard of this. And so I was the 12th inductee. They have 12 people now in their Hall of Fame. They've been doing this for several years. And at the Mid-America Truck Show, just back in March, I received the award. It was absolutely fantastic. Lots of interviews, lots of conversations, but really it was great to be recognized for the work that I'm doing in the industry. You both know, and many of you listening, if you are grinding at this industry, which we all love, but it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Yeah, it's not easy. And so to be acknowledged at that level was just fantastic. And then we had an article come out in Forbes as well, on what I'm doing in the industry. So just that recognition means that I'm doing the right thing, I'm in the right lane, and helping people that really need help, and really creating a new level of awareness in this industry for the long haul. And I'm just honored to be chosen.
Cool.
Congratulations. Really, that's a hell of an achievement to be recognized. And it is saying, hey, you are doing something that's worthwhile and more people should be listening. Hey, you're on the show with us. But people should be listening.
Amen. Amen to that.
So, how do you help truck drivers?
Yeah, we help truck drivers in a couple of different ways. And so I've been in the industry now for about 8 years. And the way that I've been serving the industry has really evolved. And I think that's one thing that's great about business is how you start isn't always how you end. I'm not ending at any point. But what I mean by that is you need to learn how to ebb and flow with the changes in the industry, changes in people, changes in trends. And I really feel like we've kind of found where our niche is now in trucking. And so we do have an app, the Mother Trucker Yoga Lifestyle Jumpstart app. You can download it. We have lots of free stuff on that app as well. And you can also join our membership, $7.99 a month. Great, wonderful. But that's really actually not the primary way I serve truck drivers now. We serve them in a couple of different ways. One, I do wellness programming for truck drivers. We actually have a health insurance offer now where we're bundling wellness with traditional health care. The cool thing is we can save trucking companies about 50% on their health care, which is pretty awesome. And now, so I've been working on that for about a year and a half now, and we're rolling that out. So that's really exciting. But the other way that I'm serving drivers, about 2 or 3 years ago, maybe even a smidge more than that, I kind of had this moment where we're often serving our audience at like midpoint or even towards the end. At least as somebody in health and wellness with truck drivers, like I'm getting drivers that maybe are a year into driving, but a lot of the drivers I work with are 10 years in, 15 years in, 20 years in. And I kept hearing back from them, why didn't anyone teach me this sooner? Why have I not heard about this before? And it really got me thinking, like, what if there was a way to really educate drivers coming into the industry with this basic knowledge before they become a driver? And so I was able to create a program for trucking schools called the Driver Lifestyle Wellness Starting Out Healthy Certification. And we partnered with CVTA, Commercial Vehicle Trucking Association, to roll this out. We just did this about 2 weeks ago. We rolled it out at their annual conference. And the exciting part about this is not about teaching drivers about diabetes or high blood pressure or, how to map out their BMI, all these things that like nobody cares about until it happens because it's not real. This is really about preventative lifestyle maintenance. Like you would maintenance your vehicle, maintenance your truck, how to have good posture in the driver's seat, how to walk more and do it more functionally, where your core muscles are at and how to activate them. Basic stretches and exercises that take just a few minutes every day to keep your body mobile, healthy, agile, and fit. And the great thing about this is it's a self-paced certification, so trucking schools don't have to take away from their extensive curriculum, but it adds that little stamp of approval onto that new driver for the carrier that they end up going to, saying, hey, I'm now an asset, not a liability to you. Like, I understand what I need to do personally to take care of myself at a basic level so that hopefully I'm in it with you for the long haul, because we all know that turnover is constant. But when I talk to drivers leaving the industry, they never say that they don't like truck driving. They never say that they don't like the actual industry themselves. What they're not okay with is how it's so hard on them, their lifestyle, their health, their physical well-being. And to me, that's 100% preventable with the right education and the right tools. And so I'm just really excited to be partnering with CVTA to roll this out to truck schools across the country to start changing that narrative before these drivers come into the industry.
Wow, cool.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to ask something, Jared John.
No, I'm just impressed by the volume of information that is coming in there, at the beginning stages of a driver's career. There is no need to question it now. There are folks like yourself that have got programs, tools to help them get started in their career so that they can have a healthy lifestyle and not end up like crotchety old guys like this guy and I.
Well, and the interesting thing is too is, it's kind of like a young kid. If you teach your kid to brush their teeth when they're young, when they become an adult, they're like, well, why don't you brush your teeth every day? That's weird because that's all they know. And so trying to help these drivers understand some basic lifestyle wellness techniques and strategies that just feel very easy to implement and kind of like things they can put in their back pocket, things they can do automatically. Now, when they enter into the industry, that's normal speak for them. They don't know any different versus coming in 2 or 3 years down the road. Then they like have this idea or the stigma or this thought process about how they should be or it should be. Or they're like, I don't need that. I drink 24 Mountain Dews a day and I'm just fine. I'm like, we'll be in the future. We don't know about that. And so now we're trying to change that narrative before the industry kind of creates its imprint on them to really try to change a culture, because that's really what's going on here is if we don't change the culture of trucking, and the health is one piece of it. We both know, all three of us, there are a lot of other pieces that go into the culture of trucking, but the conversation has to start at incubation, and incubation is in the school. It's not 5 years in, 10 years in. That's why there's so many of the drivers that aren't catching on and aren't wanting this, because they're just in the grind now. This is not, you have to break them out of that routine and rut. And that's hard for any of us, truck driver or not.
Yeah. And it's such an industry that it's easy to not follow healthy habits. That's the easy way. And as you say, if you can educate them right at the very beginning so they adapt just a couple of healthy habits, then they won't be like me. I'm trying to adapt healthy habits now.
Well, you choose. You have to choose. Am I going to take care of my health on the front end, preventative, or am I going to try to save my health on the back end? And, that's really the choice we have to make. And the hard part is when we can't see something yet, it feels like pointless to choose it, right? Like, well, I don't have diabetes yet. I don't have back pain yet. I'm not 50 pounds overweight yet. And so it doesn't feel urgent to make those changes. But the hard part about that is once you're at that point, sometimes there's no going back. Sometimes you can't reverse the disease. Sometimes you can't reverse the issue that you're dealing with. But it's twice as hard, maybe even 10 times as hard. Because now you have all these other things going on top of trying to drive a truck, on top of trying to get a paycheck, on top of trying to do all the other things that you're doing. And my whole suggestion to trucking schools, new drivers, the industry in general is let's just change a small part of that conversation. Let's just implement some small little strategies. Like I creating the certification, it was interesting when I was talking to some people that were going to be a part of this in this kind of initiation of the certification. One of the big questions was, well, aren't you going to teach about diabetes? Aren't you going to teach about high blood pressure? Aren't you going to teach about like all these things? And I'm like, they're not ready yet for that information. They're not ready yet for all of these big things, how to calculate your blood pressure, how to check your blood sugar. Like, it's not real for them because that's not an issue they're dealing with yet. What they are dealing with is good posture, back pain, sleep things. They might already be dealing with those things and they feel tangible. They feel doable, and they don't feel like they're asking them to completely overhaul their lifestyle and what it is they're doing and how it is they're living right now. And you really do have to kind of feed people one bread piece at a time, one crumb at a time. Sometimes I call this the backdoor method. Make it super easy and approachable, and then help them feel that this is something they can do. And they kind of build their own momentum then to want to start looking for additional sources, additional resources, additional tools, additional programs. It doesn't have to be mother trucker yogas, but they're going to start to want to take better care of themselves because the foundation they've created is simple and easy and doable. And that's really the narrative when it comes to fitness and health that I've lived by for the last 20 plus years, which is kind of different than a lot of other people. They love their programs. They love their 8-week course. They love their die hard, eat this, not that. And that's just not me. I believe in moderation. I believe in setting expectations that are achievable to build that momentum. Because for a lot of us, I mean, I want to live a great life. I want to enjoy all life has to offer. And I think I can do that by setting realistic expectations and understanding moderation and understanding me as a person, mentally, physically, emotionally. And I think those are missing pieces in the trucking space. When we talk about health and wellness, it's often fitness, it's often exercise. And that's one piece of a much more dynamic conversation.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the problems that we've had in the trucking industry is that stereotypical, it's the lifestyle, where you're giving us the ability to change the lifestyle. You're giving us the ability to make the lifestyle what we want it to be. If I want to be healthier, well, then I can do it. Well, how do I do it? Well, there are things you can do. You don't have to have, like you say, that 8-week program, but, look at better eating habits just by simple things of, there's a lot of truck stops parked near Walmarts now. Well, why don't you go shop the produce aisle at the Walmart and pick up some snack food instead of grabbing it from the truck stop at the Dorito section?
Absolutely. Well, even simple things like get a better mattress. Drivers will say, "Oh, I don't want to pay the extra $200." Well, in about 2 months, once you've been driving, you're going to have so much back pain, you're going to spend $2,000. And so there's these little things that you can do. Meditation at night. I'm talking like 5 minutes with the app or your headphones on, listening to some relaxing music and just deep breathing. No one's going to see you. Don't worry. Like no one has to know. You don't even have to tell people. You can still tell people it's lame and secretly do it in the back end. Nobody cares.
So are you telling me I don't have to put on my Lululemon pants to do my meditation in the bunk anymore? But I like those Lululemon pants. They're comfortable.
I mean, if you want to, I'm not going to hold you back.
Okay.
But that's exactly right. The making it a point to say, I can't get to Walmart or I can't get to the grocery store every day, but I can once a week or I can once every other week. And there's this like stigma, and this is outside of trucking even, that people feel like, well, if I can't do it all the time, I might as well not do it at all. And that is like such a backward half ASS way of going about health, because if you eat the carrot or you eat the salad, it still does you good. If you go for a walk, it still counts. And so this mentality of either I'm going to do it every single day perfectly no matter what, or I'm just going to give up, you're the one suffering. You are the one that is losing out on improving your overall health and well-being. And once we can understand that at a basic level, that like, okay, all I have, maybe I can't get to the grocery store. I walk into the truck stop. Today, I'm going to look for fresh food. Okay, I see an orange and an apple. Well, that's not very exciting, but it's still an orange and an apple, and that still counts. Or I'm going to order from Arby's, or I'm going to order from McDonald's, but I'm going to get a burger with no bun, and I'm not going to get fries. Or I'm going to get a small fry today. Like all of these small choices add up to more small, healthy choices. And there's this loop you can get in. When I make a good choice, I feel good about myself. When I feel good about myself, I make a good choice. When I make a feel good choice, I feel good about myself. And so we constantly now are building this momentum of what small, healthy choices that lead us to what? More small, healthy choices. And that's really what it's all about.
So we have opportunities. Not every trucker has this, but a lot of truck drivers have this opportunity that they're not taking advantage of. And it might be, I'm stuck at a receiver waiting to get unloaded, and they're telling me it's going to be 3 hours. Okay. The facility I'm at is a large distribution warehouse, and there's like on 100 acres. Well, why not go for a little walk? Even if it's a half an hour or an hour, but instead of sitting in that chair, or laying there eating a popsicle, watching, my video game or whatever, go for a walk.
I agree. And I try to meet people where they're at. And so, okay, if you're thinking to yourself, listening to this, going like, oh yeah, like I don't want to do that. Okay, walk and talk. Talk to the person that you were going to call, but walk while you do it. Or watch Instagram reels and go for a walk. Or say, hey, I'm going to do this 30-minute walk and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to watch my Netflix show or I'm going to do whatever else. And so, how is it that we can fit these things into our day versus that stigma saying of like, oh, I'm always so busy. I'm in the grind. I don't have time. But I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. Like, I don't care who you are. You make time when you choose to find time. There is time when you decide that that is a priority for you to fit it into your day. And until you tell yourself that, you're never going to find those opportunities. And most of the time, and I think we're all guilty of this, when we say, oh, I don't have any time, I don't have any time, I don't have any time. But then if there was a camera following you all day, the amount of times you're scrolling Facebook, the amount of time you're just kind of like sitting around, the amount of times you're like just kind of walking aimlessly, like, or just even for a driver, the amount of times you're just sitting there listening to garbage on the radio. Why not pop on a meditation? Why not pop on a podcast that's talking about driver health and wellness like this one? Like, all of these things can help you change your mind, change your habits, change your lifestyle for the long haul. Because at the end of the day, it's your health. It is your choice, but don't you want to live the best version of yourself? I don't know about you guys, but I do.
Yeah, I always had this vision that one of the busiest people in the world has to be the president of the United States. And I don't want to get into politics, but currently Trump is the president and he always finds time for golf. It is something that, you know, he makes time for that bit of exercise, whether you call it golf and exercise or not. I love golf.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? But
Well, okay, so let's look at that. Let's look at that. He's outside.
yeah,
He's in the sun. He's breathing oxygen. He's walking. He's, using his core because golf takes a lot of core strength. He's twisting his spine. He's probably squatting down to get the ball. Like, he's moving his body. And so when people look at that and go, oh, it must be so nice. Well, would we look at that any different if he was then out going for a walk in a garden every day? Or maybe if he was playing basketball instead. And so I think that there's some stigma sometimes attached to the type of activity people choose. But if that's his mental de-stress, that's his physical movement where he's clear and calm and focused and he sleeps better at night, I think that is absolutely great. And for a truck driver, you might not have access to a golf course, but you can get outside, you can squat, reach, bend. You can go for a walk. You can get vitamin D, which is going to boost serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin, basically help you feel good about yourself and good about life. Like, I think the narrative there is you got to choose something and you have to choose to find the time. Otherwise, life will just pass you by.
Well, one of the problems we have is you have so many hours that you can drive in a day, and drivers are quick to go, but I got to drive. But at what cost do I have to drive? Right? So yes, I could drive 11 hours and I'm freaking exhausted. Whereas maybe if I drove 10 and took that last hour for my mental wellness and maybe a little bit of physical exercise to go with it, cool. And then, tomorrow I've only got 5 hours to put in. I'm going to have more time to myself. But, you have to decide, is it because I want all the money in the world, which isn't going to help me in 20 years from now when I'm all crippled up and seized up because I didn't exercise or eat properly, versus take a little bit of time for yourself now?
Absolutely. And so that kind of pre-trip planning is more than just how do I get from point A to point B? Like, when do I have to get there by? What's my deadline? What's traffic like? Blah, blah, blah. We all know the deal with that. But it's also asking yourself just a simple question in the morning or the night before. When will I find time for myself? And this is a scary statement for some people because they immediately feel guilty. They feel like, oh, I could never do that because our culture has kind of trained us into thinking that. Like, if we're not grinding, if we're not self-sacrificing, if we're not putting everything else first in the world, like, then we're not good enough. But what does that leave you? Burnt out, completely just exhausted, with lots of health issues, and you never have the energy to go home and enjoy the people that you're doing this for in the first place. And so I love that concept of just the night before, the morning of, that pre-trip check really starts first with you checking in and say, where can I add even just 5 to 15 minutes? Start small, where you're going to say, I'm just going to close my eyes and sit in the driver's seat and just breathe and just sit in silence. Or I'm going to get out and I'm just going to walk to the edge of the property and back and just listen to the birds or listen to the cars drive by or talk to my mom or talk to my wife or talk to my husband or whoever it is, someone that's positive, somebody that's going to build you up, not just dump more burden and stress on you, so that when you get back in that driver's seat, you're like, all right, I can do this. I feel like I can tackle the world. And this is really where it has to start, because your dispatcher ain't going to do it. Your boss ain't going to do it. Your spouse ain't going to do it. My friends, I hate to break it to you. You're the one that has to initiate it.
And what I want people to hear is those little changes that you had mentioned. But if you do it on the phone, if you say, I'm going to go for a 15-minute walk while you're talking to somebody positive, I'll bet you it's 20 minutes goes by like that. Go, oh my God, I did that for 30 minutes today. I didn't mean to. Oh,
yeah. And you're probably going to get in a 30-minute time span. You'll probably have walked a mile. I mean, that's amazing. You're going to be getting 2,500 steps in, which is exactly what your body needs to help improve digestion, elimination, help with sleep. A lot of drivers complain about sleep issues for a number of reasons. But one of the things I like to pose to them all the time is sleep and your body is kind of like a glass of water. So I have a teacup here. And in the morning, let's get into, there we go. In the morning, it's full. Okay. And the goal is through the day to empty the cup, because at night it gets refilled. But the problem is, if you're not emptying the cup during the day and then you go to sleep at night, there's nothing new to pour in. And so we're not deeply sleeping. We're not resting and renewing our body. Our organs, our brain aren't refreshing themselves. And so we kind of wake up a little exhausted because our body didn't do what it needed to do, because during the day, we didn't do what we needed to do. And there's a difference between mental exhaustion and physical exhaustion. And exhaustion, I maybe not the right word, like exertion. And so drivers are mentally just like tapped out by the end of the day, but they're not physically tapped out. And so when you do stop for your break, when you are parked for the night, before you get up in the morning, whatever the case may be, you have to physically exert yourself, because your body has to kind of rest and recover at night. This is how your body works. This is science. This isn't like a philosophy that somebody just like picked up one day. If you don't physically exert yourself, of course you're going to be restless at night. Of course, your body is not going to be well rested. Mentally, you were tired, but physically you weren't. And so we have to kind of empty the cup on both ends. So my question to all of you listening is, find that time where you can go and give it. Walk, squat, do a little yoga in your truck cab, whatever the case may be. If you don't check the box of physical exertion, physical movement, you're going to have sleep issues. You're going to have digestive issues. You're going to have elimination issues. You're going to have all of those other things, because that physical exertion piece is a piece of the puzzle that's making all the other parts of your body work the way it's designed. So this is not a truck driving issue, my friends. This is you deciding to make time for your body to work optimally.
And so this would be a lifestyle regardless of the occupation you have.
Correct. Exactly. Like, we could be talking about plumbers right now. We could be talking about school teachers right now. Like, whoever you pick the industry, you pick the career. And oftentimes the same choice patterns are true. It just so happens with drivers, it's a little bit more accelerated because you are locked behind the steering wheel. So if you're a plumber, you might be hunched over something for 2, 3, 4 hours, and you might get up and go to the bathroom or walk to your toolbox or walk to your truck. It's probably minimal. Okay. It's probably maybe 2 or 3 times, but the freedom is there. It's whether or not they choose it. For a driver, the freedom is very dictated into pockets of time when you're not driving. However, For a driver, there are things that you can do from the driver's seat that are very safe for you to help reduce things like back pain, increase blood flow, help with circulation. But you have to choose to want to do them. You have to choose to want to take that piece into your lifestyle. So when you get out of the truck, you don't feel like, okay, give me a second. Like my body won't move. Like I'm locked. I'm not locked and loaded. I'm just locked. And if that's you, you might want to think that maybe it's time you start to adjust your lifestyle just a little bit, like 1%, 1 degree, and add some of these things into your toolbox. You're going to be blown away at how you feel.
And if they need help in adjusting their lifestyle, they should reach out to Mother Trucker Yoga.
Yes.
See some, and a good place to start. I got it right here. We have a book, Trucking Yoga, Simple Fitness for the Long Haul. The cool thing about this book is there's more than 60 exercises in the book that drivers can just open up to and go, oh, I could do that. We talk about posture in the driver's seat. We talk about core exercises, walking, the 4 essential movements everyone needs to do to age healthy, truck driver or not. This is really just a great user's guide for truck drivers or really anybody that wants to get moving again, that's living a little bit more of a sedentary lifestyle. This has really just changed so many lives of drivers. Kim, one of my drivers, reached out to me after buying this, and she's like, I had a double knee replacement. Like it was hard to get in and out of the truck. I had really limited range of motion because of the things that you were teaching me. I don't have pain getting in and out of the truck anymore. Like I'm walking more than ever. So the cool thing about a tool like this or any tool, if you commit to using it and give me 7 days, give me 30 days, you will be blown away at how you feel because it's the commitment to that piece, that one component. And once you make that mindset shift, man, the sky's the limit.
So what a great place to wrap up this interview.
Yes.
All of your contact info is in the show notes down below. So I would say to everybody, click on those, reach out to Hope. Hope Zvara from Mother Trucker Yoga. And I did pronounce it clearly. Got to be careful. I can get tongue-tied, but Mother Trucker Yoga. Okay. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Hope.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you.
Hope Zvara, thank you so much for coming on to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast. Appreciate your time. And for all of you listeners and subscribers out there, please share the content. Hope's got a valuable, very valuable message that she needs our help in getting out to the trucking community. Thanks so much for joining us this week, Johnny, and I appreciate you. Thank you.